How is everyone doing? I hope that your Friday's off to a great start. We're going to see how this goes. I am sitting in a Publix parking lot waiting for Emmy to finish up her swimming for today. I have Sammy in the car with me. Sammy, going to behave? I hope he does. No guarantees. We kind of are very possessive of mom right now. So if anybody walks by with a shopping cart, you will know immediately because he's going to be barking his head off. But I wanted to start a new series this month because I wanted to address something that I think has been the most pivotal change in my whole journey, and that is addressing the mindset piece. And I wanted to share some information today. Is a little bit more sciencey than I typically like to get, but I wanted to do this because each week I'm going to offer some different solutions, how to get our minds and our mindsets back in check. And if you are following program, this is element 4 in our life book or 1.6 in Dr. A's Habits of Health book. So why is mindset so important? It's important for a few reasons, but number one, I had read a statistic, and this is why I wanted to do a series on this month, is that 90% of diseases and illnesses, according to research, are caused by stress, mismanagement, anxiety, those kinds of things, which leads us to believe that it's all, or a lot of it is in our mind. They have shown that sometimes having a lot of stress or anxiety can cause cancer. It can cause diabetes to kind of go rampant and can cause other diseases like cancers and things like that to go off the rails. So we all recognize that having a healthy mindset is so important. I think especially after COVID times, being displaced from other people, not having as healthy of a mindset, I think, with some stressors that were going on outside of our control, I think it's kind of brought it more to the surface. And I think everybody can kind of recognize with recent events that that kind of mindset has not been helping our society as a whole. So I wanted to offer some insight into that today, and then moving forward to offer some ways to kind of rein that back in when things are kind of out of your control. So why is mindset so important? Well, these days are very different than when humans were on the planet early days. So thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, we kind of ruled our bodies by our fight or flight, meaning we were very clean. Our brain was keenly tuned into the dangers out there in the world, talking about animals, talking about things we didn't know anything about in nature. It just had that heightened sense. And so when bad things were happening, our initial response as early humans was to run away instead of just dealing with it. And that is just natural. That is what our brain has been programmed to do. And guess what? Even today, when we don't have saber-toothed tigers and dinosaurs roaming the earth, we still are programmed to do and to act like that. And even though now those perceived threats are just perceptions, they are not things that are real anymore. So we have to get that in tune. And that part of the brain we call the reptilian brain. And it is deep inside our brain. We cannot turn it on or off, and it's there whether or not deal with it. So I wanted to offer some ways to help that in future event or future episodes of this. We also have what is called a limbic part of your brain, and that is we call kind of like the Labrador thinking. That's more of the emotional part. So we have this part of the brain that kind of allows us to act on how we're feeling. And again, that's something that I struggle with a lot, trying to rein in the emotion and the fight or flight. You may feel the same way, but that limbic part of the brain has us feeling a certain way and acting on those emotions. I find this to be very relevant with my eating. I don't call myself an emotional eater. Now I have an emotional eating habit that I'm working on, replacing that habit with something that's a little bit more positive. But that's where that comes in. That's that feeling. If I'm stressed out with the way that I've interacted with my teens, I immediately want something carby and bready and something that's not going to serve my journey well. That is, again, programmed deep inside my brain. It's something that I can control, but it's something that I have to deal with and acknowledge. The third part of our brain, and this is the part that I'm hoping I can help you with in coming episodes, is the thinking part of the brain. And we've got to find ways to engage that thinking part to override those reptilian parts of the brain and the limbic parts of the brain. And it takes practice. We're not used to doing that. It doesn't come natural to us because, again, we are pre-programmed and pre-wired to think like the Labrador Retriever with emotions and feelings, or acting like a lizard that just runs and hides and just avoids danger at all costs. So we've got to find the healthy balance, and that's when we're engaging the thinking part of the brain that makes that has the creativity part, that has the logic part. So that's important to kind of engage that, and that's why I wanted to share some kind of tips to help with that in the future. So one way that we can do that is we have something in our program called Think, Challenge, and Choose, or Stop, Challenge, and Choose. And what that does is it kind of overrides those feelings that we get when something's not right. You might notice that your breathing is a little bit more rapid. You might notice you become shaky, or you have like an uneasy sense in your gut. All of those kinds of signals are that reptilian part of the brain that are starting to engage. And when we stop and recognize that when it's happening, that allows us some time and some space to process what's actually going on. My dog's probably about to bark. It's okay, Sam. It's all right. So the first step is the stop. So you just simply stop, recognize that feeling or emotion that's going on. The second step is to challenge. So you think about, or you challenge what's going on. This is maybe not the truth, or there might be something else that's true about what's going on. And you're challenging yourself to act in a different way, to go in a different direction. And then the last step of that is to choose, to make your choice to do something else. So for example, with my eating, okay, so I've had an argument with Jack or Emmy about something, and I don't like the way that it went. Maybe mom didn't win that argument, or maybe I won and my life's going to be miserable for the next few tens of minutes, whatever. That would be a chance for me to stop, because I'm feeling that unease that something's not right. I'm going to challenge that thought. Okay, I've got some options here. I can go and grab some carby pretzels or crackers or whatever, or something sweet that I have in the house for them. Or I can choose to do something else. For me, it's been as simple as walking out of the room, getting myself out of that situation. Sometimes I'll grab the phone. Friends, if I call you, it might be because I'm dealing with something stressful and I'm trying to change my direction. You can also go outside, take a walk, just sit outside, go outside, sit on the porch or whatever, sit outside, in the backyard. That's also helpful. You, again, are disengaging that reptilian part of your brain and that Labrador part of your brain where you're feeling your feelings and you're stopping it in its tracks. And then you can make your choice and make that choice, whatever it is that you decided to do, and go and take care of that. So that's one way that you can kind of divert your thinking and engage that thinking creativity part of your brain. I have a couple of more ideas I'm going to share with you in future episodes, but I hope your Friday is off to a great start. Send me a message, comment below, send me a message, let me know what you thought about this or any other thoughts that you have to help with dealing with those different parts of our brain and the way that it reacts. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you guys next Friday. Have a great one.